my camera lagging to you guys? It was a bad time to realize, but hi.
Hi,
Oh wow.
how are you?
Live.
Right. Let's do it.
All right. Let's see. Good morning.
It's early.
It
tired.
is early. I could not sleep last night.
Yeah, I got like 3 hours of sleep. So
I passed out. It was I think I saw two. I definitely didn't see 3. I think I saw 2:30 a.m. But
Oof.
and what was I saying? So obviously you got a little. You were up a little bit later than that, or woke up earlier than myself. But my wife always tries to get me to go to bed around like 10 o'clock on Tuesdays.
should do it. I mean,
No, I was physically in the bed by 11.
oh,
You know, flash
No,
forward a few
yeah.
hours.
I get that.
So-
No,
Old man complaining about sleep. The scream.
sleep apnea is pretty bad. I think that's what's called,
Well,
right?
I don't have sleep apnea. That's when you
No?
that's when you can't breathe due to
Oh.
yeah. I think
I'm
your
bad at-
tongue or a weight of your chest or whatever it might be.
Then
I
used
know
to
I
have
got
terrible
I know I've got
sleep
large breasts, but they don't give me sleep apnea.
Yep. I don't know. I feel like I've heard the term, and then I thought it was the different
I had
term. So that's how it is.
Gigantic tonsils, so much so that if I breathed in hard enough, they would whistle.
Oh,
But
And
you might
that's
want
what
to have
was giving
those
me
scoop those out.
sleep apnea. Yeah. Oh, they did.
Oh, okay.
They're gone.
All right. I still have my tonsils. It used to be a relatively routine thing. They'd be like, you got like a thing going on in your throat. We're just gonna take those out. And nowadays they try to keep them in there as much as possible.
Yeah, they don't take him out like they used to.
Yeah. Apparently they're like super important for your immune system or something. So they try to leave them in there unless it's life threatening, which not being able to get oxygen to your brain during one
yeah.
of its most active times is kind of life threatening.
Apparently, I gave my sister panic attacks when I slept over at her place because she would hear me stop breathing, and then they'd be like, "Is it gonna breathe? Is it gonna breathe? Is it gonna breathe?" He's breathing again.
It's as a Jake can speak to this. As a parent, sometimes you go and check on your kid, and you just see if they're sleeping, and it's just like that one of those things where then you realize they're lying incredibly still, and your brain hits panic mode, and then you like stare at their stomach like move,
breathe,
move,
breathe.
and then like after like 5 or 6 seconds, you're like, I'm gonna go check, but then all of a sudden you see them breathing, and you're like, okay,
It's
okay.
It gets us. I don't know if it's got that with you though, but I've had to like poke them a couple of times before.
you're like, why are you breathing so shallow? So funny, but it's just it's a parent thing.
I have a story about tonsils if you want to hear, because mine were really bad.
Sure. Do you still have them?
Yeah, I do. I almost.
I just didn't want to talk about them if they weren't here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. We almost got
That
rid
shouldn't
of
have been that funny, but it was.
Guys, so.
We almost got rid of them because my tonsils are like really bad. They help stop strep throat or something like that, or like they can cause strep throat. I had strep throat for like 4 years straight in a row, and it was bad.
Yeah. Well, I
That's
mean,
my story. Yeah.
no. Well,
I had a
strep throat is one of those funky. I've had it, I think, twice ever in my life, and just antibiotics are fine. But apparently, strep throat is one of those weird things where even though it's in your throat, if it goes on for too long, it can make you sterile. Like you lose the ability to have kids from having
that's a
strep
weird,
throat.
interesting.
Right? It's one of those
That's
like
a weird interaction.
like how much spit do I got down? No.
I
Oh,
remember
God,
during our year 12, which is our final year of high school here.
Yep. Same thing here.
I had respiratory tract infection, ear infection, eye infection. There was one other infection, and then I went to the doctor. And I remember he because like my throat was hurting, and he took one look and started laughing and says, "Time to add tonsillitis to the list." And I'm like, "Fucking yay!"
When was the last time you hung out with Tyler?
A little while ago.
Not to sound gross, but has he showed you his throat?
Yes, he did. He did. He very much did.
I won't lie. I'm like, bro, when you getting that shit done, like, like let's count the times you swallow food between now and then, which he's got like another 2.5 weeks. So it's intense. It's
If
like
you haven't seen Tyler on stream, you don't understand.
no, he has it's one of the reasons why he's like super quiet on Regicide right now. Like his throat is half closed because one side is so swollen, it's like 2 walnuts. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and then the other side, it's like I don't know, an almond and a half. Like it's really bad. His throat is half closed, and he can show you just by opening his mouth. Like it's not even like you even have to do the whole
but you can
intentionally
see,
open
like,
the throat,
inside-
stick your tongue out. You just open his mouth, and you can see how
Yeah.
bad it is. Yeah.
That's when you know it's real bad, is when you just open the mouth and go, oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Usually that's, you know, after somebody gets like a tooth pulled or something, and you're like, oh, that's nasty looking. But no, it's the poor guy's throat. All right, are we? Who wants to do the recap? You know, Cell is a guest here, and if I ask Cell to do it again, Green is probably going to ask for heads to roll. So Tesh, would you like to give us a recap of last week? Or we can just make Cell do it.
I don't know. Can
Yeah.
I? I wasn't present consciously for half of it.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Poor Tesh. Can we
Am I
not
just-
drop you again? That'd be
Am I
nice.
just the recapper?
That'd be fantastic. That's 2 combats, two unconsciouses. So, we got off the boats.
Well, hold on. Has it really only been 2 combats, or just 2 proper
Yes.
combats?
No, we literally, other than like.
Oh
out
yeah,
of
because you've had
combat
little
things,
things like you've had a random sturge and stuff. Okay, yeah. So
and
2 proper
the things.
combats.
2
Yeah.
proper
Okay.
combats.
Okay.
And so
And Sturge
we,
made me
we got
blind.
lost, got back on track. We got some really good rolls and got us back on track, and then we got some really bad rolls and walked into a spike pit, essentially. For Doom orcs, just by literally the skin of Viggo's teeth.
I won't lie. That was
Survive.
It-
Yeah.
A couple dice changes and like insta death.
Oh yeah. That was most of the session, and then we saw that there was a lot of
that was raw
organized
too.
work.
Like that was untouched. You know what I mean? That was just let the dice fall at that one. I mean, somebody had dropped the fortune's favor, but all of a sudden there was this like weird turn of the tide where I was like, I don't know. Like I have a thing I could trigger. I know I have the Karak up there watching, but like I'm gonna let things go and see how it plays out. So
Oh yeah, we had
Nice.
the friend orcs
He is
who
Tony.
helped us get back on track. Tony. Yeah. Now, what was his actual name?
Doesn't matter. His name's Tony.
We saw.
Weirdly enough, I think
the-
it was Geeka. I think.
Sounds
yes.
about right.
Oh, okay. And then we got back on track. We found the place, the ruins, and there was a lot of Kuruk, and they were not making stuff like Kuruk would normally make it. They were making it with almost like mass producing. They were being more wasteful than normal. And they were being led by someone who was human, right?
They looked human too.
Yeah, human with long hair and a specific shiny axe.
I don't see anything special about this.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Sounds like a Kuruk, you know?
Oh yeah.
Human, axe. I mean, greasy hair.
No. Whoa.
They're all Italian, okay? Remember?
Oh. I don't know if we want to make that stereotype. I don't know. Is it accurate?
My Italian ancestry is from the south. They all have greasy hair in the south.
It's too close to the Mediterranean.
I mean, it's on it, yeah.
Steve apparently is selling out because he tossed a Winifred's wisdom to you, Celsius.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So, and we literally left off with, hey, Ray drew the axe and raised it as part of resolving the, let's say, infighting a dispute or whatever was happening with the
That's
other
right,
Karok.
yeah.
And then, as words are able to resolve the situation, he put the axe away and then turned and started walking elsewhere. You guys did not get noticed because your where were you? Stealth checks were pretty solid, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
you
I
need
think
to
it
roll
was just
stealth.
part of the fortune's favor.
Oh, it's part
wasn't
of the fortune's favor. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right. That
and
you were
we
able to get
also
up there and so on and so
got
forth.
really good
And then you rolled
perception.
good perception. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 12, a 28, and a 26. Absolutely. Yep.
And that's with the
Spyglass.
spyglass
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah. That was
So,
able to get the finer details exactly. Oh,
Just
that's
so I've got, we're all on the same page. We didn't actually have to go to the ruins, did we? We had to just kind of find out what was going on here.
we had to scout out, give estimated numbers, and what we were also meant to sort of apprehend whether they have magic, as
Well.
well. That was one. There were like a list of things that they would like us to figure out. It was like vague numbers, clear out if possible. That's ticked off now. We're not doing that. That's a cannot do.
Well, hold on. Are you sure? There's still ways that you were able to clear them out. Like let's say if you guys all started, let's say they had a central water area, like a well, and everybody took a shit in it. That could potentially help clear out their numbers.
That's just a normal thing in the Barren Lands.
So, like, I'm sorry. Whenever I think of like that kind of communal water being gross, I'll always reference, because it's such an iconic scene that I can never get out of my head. If you've ever seen the movie 13th Warrior, with I think it's Antonio Banderas, plays a guy from I think he's Palestinian, but he plays an Arab guy. And he goes on to this like important quest with these 12 Vikings. So there's 12 Vikings and one Arab go on this important quest. And he's like, sits around the campfire with them, and what they'll do is like in the morning when they wake up, they have one bowl of water that they like pass around to each other, and they like take a mouthful of it and they swish it around and spit back in the bowl and splash on their face and blow snots into it, and like they just do this whole big roundabout. They try to offer to him and he says no thanks, and they think he's gross because he doesn't want to be a part of it, because he doesn't want to do his morning cleaning. And he like learns their language in like not even 3 months of traveling with them and just listening to them, because at that point in time and where the story takes place, that's when like the Arabic world were creating all sorts of mathematical developments and engineering and music and just like all the forward movements of society that we all take advantage of today. But the Vikings were still just like not very advanced, and it was just like a funny contrast between the two different cultures. And so whenever I think of people doing their like morning cleaning routine as adventurers, I just always imagine that, as opposed to like the Mulan scene of them diving in the river and be like, "I'm king of the rock," which is the other scene that I always have.
You always need someone with prestidigitation. Just done.
Yeah, that takes care of that problem. Yeah.
No way. So yes, we were sent to pacify the ruins to make them. So that's what I meant by clear the ruins. But they said specifically the biggest task is to find out if these people are a threat and need to be wiped out, essentially. If this group needs to be dealt with.
The other option is if you want to cast a high-level spell into a box containing a few high-level spells, correctly arranged, that could also probably resolve the situation here. No.
What?
So we only use that. We only use that on Syl. I'm sorry. Only use that on Syl. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We don't want to denigrate the character.
Listen, we don't have like, listen. We could just fireball them, guys, okay?
All right.
Well, we all got our wands of fireball. Right? We got the parents' standard issue wand of fireballs.
All right. So looking at to-do list, Tesh. Looking at the to-do list, what was it? Get the numbers of the people here, roughly.
Yeah, roughly. The rough numbers. There was they were also talking about if this group had magic users, because that was another thing they wanted to know, if possible. Almost all of these were if possible.
Did Tony?
So what was
tell
our
us-
main objective though?
To find out if this group needs to be attacked.
If this is a concern, if these are the
If it's a
precursors
concern.
of a rising horde. That was
Yeah.
Well, what we've seen is indicative of that. So
wow. Your character is that much of a coward? Don't be a sellout, okay? Like you gotta
we have
they're
four orcs,
So
and our experience
hang
is
on,
not
hang
been
on.
good.
They were preparing and storing food, right?
I mean
Yes.
all caught up to
I'm
that.
right.
Yeah.
No, but you made a point that
We
they were
don't-
using not just what they need, but
They
they
were
were
mass producing.
having it.
Mass producing.
Yeah.
and they were
Yeah.
throwing away waste like parts
they were
of
being
the food that they
wasteful,
wouldn't
yeah.
want to eat. There was like
It'd be wasteful for like the amount of like say leathers that they were working with and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Because one of the fun things because they're doing old school tanning techniques. You can imagine they have like literally buckets of piss, and that might be why they have big numbers of Karuk. If you want to produce lots of leather, you're going to need lots of urine. So locating near to a river so you can stay hydrated, and having more people equals enough urine to mass produce leathers. So especially if they can collect the urine from other mammals as well. So
I guess can I ask Tony some questions?
Giga, yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Tony.
Grika. Is it Giga or Grika? I can't remember if he was
I
named
wrote it
after a
down.
nerd or if he was
I think
named
it was
after Jake. So
He's never told me his name. So.
what's up?
Hey, Tony. When did these guys move in? The one
Shut
with
up,
the axe.
You shut up with the shut up.
The one with the axe looks different. You know.
So you asked Tony, like, when did these guys move in? What they asked? Okay, he says, they. I don't know this guy. Hold on, how did I do this before? I don't know this guy. But numbers here grow.
50? 70?
I think
How many sets of hands?
How many tribes worth?
oh,
How many of their tribes worth?
don't know. But
Oh no, I can't. I'm not talking to him because I'm not. He's speaking Kirk, so I can't get on.
he,
this,
he, he
sorry.
thinks for a moment and he's like, it is about 12 big moon. Methinks
12 big moon. Do I get what that
4
means?
seasons.
Is that how long they've been here?
Yeah.
4 seasons. You don't know the hand? You don't know how many they have? Not
Shakes
even.
his head. Shakes his head. Get too close. Maybe eaten.
Do you know if they got any magic amongst them? Any shamans?
Magic.
Shamans. Either people that do the.
For dousing and burial. Thanks for a moment. No idea. Looks out at the group, says, it looks like not one tribe, but merge. This not strange, though. Tribes merge and break all the time. You can usually tell tribal lines by patterns or way talk or smell of food or taste of flesh. But this seems like much merge. If stay long time, those lines get blurry. You not see difference. I would look for things like this. If lines seem blurry, or if you can still see different tribe. That is how one know if tribe grow or grown.
I convey this information back to the party. I would for you guys, I would look for how many different sets of markings are on the Kuruk. If you can count like 4 different sets of unique markings, we can estimate about 4 tribes.
I can try. And I guess I'm going to try and see if I can see any sort of, as he said, with the divides, any sort of sign that they're still, say, 4 groups and not one big group, sort of thing.
I think you were the one at the 28 last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have the spyglass, so you actually did roll extremely well. That being said, you can have to roll knowledge local. Not exactly like you have a background in cross stitching.
I have a +2. What does Virgil have? Virgil has.
Now I'm imagining like a the runway, but like a Kuruk edition.
I don't know. I don't.
Virgil
know
has
what
the
it is.
same +2.
You don't know what the runway is?
No.
It's trash TV. I've never watched an episode, but you see advertisements. It's like one of those contestant shows, but with like making clothes.
Oh, I did do nature. You're right.
Yeah.
That's because it's underneath, so I must have.
Where's your die roll? It doesn't count if I don't. Oh, that one you rolled knowledge friggin'. No, I got nothing. I tried, but my brain.
I'm glad I fucked up.
Oh. Should we penalize him because he made a mistake intentionally at first? I think we should
No, it was
penalize
not
him. I
intentionally.
think we should make him have to
It was
roll
not
again.
intentionally. It was not intentionally.
These are your rules,
No.
Scott.
Don't
clicked
get
the
to
wrong
do
button.
this.
All right, so that's a critical successes don't exist in this game because you guys are wimpy, right?
They don't exist, but 22 is
They
still
don't exist.
pretty high.
This music's really good for rolling a nat 20, by the way. But so do you want to modify your whopping 22 since it's not that good?
This could be a big thing if I can get to 25. Like this is a
Look,
fairly
try it
big
because
scale.
like the sooner we can get out of here, the better.
True. Wow.
Nope.
Okay. I
23.
suppose the last question is, does your crystal have the thing? Because it would aid you. It is its
does
own
have-
independent thing.
You're right.
And Steve, yes. So annoying. It's like nonstop.
No.
Ah, you could have guessed that
No.
25.
No, I
That's
couldn't
the
get
last thing that
25.
was the last thing we could do. There was no like extra squeaky in there sort of abilities.
No,
So-
yeah, that one made sense, but no others would.
Do you think you can luck that up to? So you with your
7 on luck.
with your 23 total, you're able to look out there and you don't know what the difference is. Where was this roll last session? So you
What do
don't know
you
the
mean?
difference.
I landed my hits. I got crit against. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Problem is I land my hits too.
Exactly.
So you don't know exactly the difference between what's considered a stark difference in maybe the way that the patterns of clothes, the way they do tattoos and whatnot. You don't know the stark difference between one and the next, and what is like a more gentle difference. But obviously, you can tell the difference between what's like incredibly similar and what's different, right? Even if like the nuance transition between one and the other is kind of lost on you. So that being said, one of the things that you notice is there are definitely several Karak that you see out there. Not just 4 either, like several different Karak that have differences that are noteworthy. You could attribute those differences because you'll see that it's not just like an individual, but maybe 2 or 3 people representative of a style. So like, let's say maybe of one particular group, you'll find that all like the male Karak of one group will have a specific type of tattooing happening on like the forearm over here. Whereas if that was an individual, that might just be their style, right? Whereas if you see another different type of Karak that maybe has like the way that their clothes are actually stitched and whatnot, like their leathers, they're designed to actually put on almost the way you would put on a like a gurney, whatever they're called, that you wear at like hospitals, where it's stitched up in the back by somebody else versus you like pulling it from behind to the front, or throwing it over your head, sort of a thing. So like little differences like that you're able to see across like several different groups, which leads you to believe that this blending that's happening here, whether it be temporary or permanent, is likely not 4 tribes, probably closer to something like 9 or 10 tribes from looking at this. So again, another thing that kind of tells you the size of this group here is not a small number.
That's both is and is not what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, but that being said, I mean, you can see those differences. You aren't able to make out whether or not that's kind of already going on that sliding scale of they've been together long enough that blah blah blah, right? So these, in theory, this could be almost like, if you will, a one building town, like where another tribe might choose to come here, follow some sort of code, be here temporarily, and then leave. Or this is actually the beginnings of a blending of a tribe, or one of a million other things, depends on where your imagination takes you, right?
Shit. I would relay that basically what I got about it being, I can see evidence of it at least what looks like 9 groups, but could be more, could be less. And I also have no idea how integrated they are yet. Just I should be doing this with the voice, but I won't bother now since I'm almost done. There's what I can see at the moment.
Well, I mean, that was mostly out of character anyway, so you're good.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I'll give that information. Just I'm not sure what is the next step.
Yeah, I mean, I'll document everything down. Seeing as I can't remember exactly what the thing was, that even though we've got a vague idea of what we're supposed to do, are we supposed to do anything else, Scott?
Exactly what thing was? Sorry, because Tesh was pretty accurate. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we've done practically what we were supposed to do.
So you don't know so you wanted to know a vague idea of the numbers, right?
Yep.
Whether or not this is actually the beginnings of a trimming, like any details you can get, beginnings, trimmings of a horde, so on and so forth. And what their capabilities are. Do they have magic? Do they have what kind of abilities they have to them, right? If possible, try to disperse them. And then anything beyond that's just like additional information. So like, for instance, you see this person does not come off as being a typical Karak, right? That was pretty obvious, which is why we pointed it out last session. Who the hell is that person? Why are they here? Is that indicative of...
Why are they in a position of power?
Yeah. Like things like that are like additional information that... Getting that information now while you're here might be better than having to send somebody else out later on to even try to find this place to get that information. It all depends on how much you want to take advantage of the successes you've had so far before you feel as though you get to that line where you're needlessly making additional risk without really the return on information.
So I mean, really, this is just a watching game. Just watch for a while and see if anything happens. We're not going to be able to disperse them. We're 3 people. Like, realistically,
is there a high
we're
ground
not doing that.
That looks at least somewhat down towards this place?
There is a high ground, but you can see that Obi-Wan has already taken it. So,
God damn it.
Whatever high ground they have, I imagine they would probably have scouts around
yes,
it.
of course.
What I would imagine.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where with your spyglass, inevitably searching around trying to find this, you'd be like, oh no, I see it. No, not there. And you can actually, if you want to look just specifically that sort of a thing, you're welcome to make a survival check.
Might as well.
Hmm.
I have survival, so
I'll assist you.
that what he said before the roll landed.
Nope.
Oh no! Oh no!
I won't assist you.
He stands up. Hey, Galen! Look over here! Galen!
On these sorts of rolls, can I have? Oh, I don't think he has survival, so he can't do that. But on like knowledge rolls, I can have Virgil assist me, can I?
You can, yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I like that.
I mean, because its mind is kind of linked.
It makes
with you,
sense, yeah.
So, yeah. You would be able to confer if you have time. I should say, it can assist you.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. This wouldn't be an in combat thing. He's got abilities that do knowledge checks in combat anyway, so that's separate.
So looking about, you can see that there is no particular high ground or any vantage point that you're going to be able to get your hands on. So, you know, this might be the best spot for you to be able to maintain, at least for now, right?
Yeah.
So I have a question. So this is like they're living out of this temple, right? Or this old building, right?
These old ruins. Yep.
Yeah. Are there any other built like permanent structures around this?
It's a really good question. So, looking around at this, these ruins that you're seeing here aren't a single structure. Kind of like how when the party originally took at the beginning of Kingmaker, originally took like that big, massive building that was there originally, plus other small structures around it, and turned it into what it was eventually the Castle of Cursefall. Or if you're thinking about Vigil and how the ruins that were there were able to be used to make like a jail facility as well as another couple of things. Or again in Hod Gwen to build up the embassy, et cetera, et cetera. This here is one larger building, significantly larger than the others. Its height has, of course, long since fallen. You know, this is a one story that has like a roof over it. The second story, if you will, gives a degree of height for them to stand on to look outwards, but it's not going to have its own cover to it. Since you're asking that specifically, what was your character's perception check? And to finish answering your question, there are other small buildings around that are like broken open or maybe just don't even have a lid to it, so on and so forth, that they could use for other things. So not one particular structure, but one noteworthy one. What were you saying?
I got a 12.
Okay, so I won't point out any more detail for you then.
I guess, have they built any temporary roofs over those open structures?
So that's what I was going to point out for free. It's they have put together a bit of like I want to say the word thatch, but that's not entirely accurate because they don't have enough greenery to be able to build thatch that's over there. So it's more built out of like you have to imagine almost like a hay or almost like a kindling, you know, like thin bits of wood that have been kind of like if they took a tree that had been cut down and they'd already used what they needed, almost like scratching along and making long strips that they've been able to use. But again, borderline kindling in this scenario.
Mhm.
About that fireball one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not a hide roof. And the reason being a roof is less important than what hides offer if used in other, because there's not a lot of, you know, hide can be used for so many things. You can like if one tribe kills another one, you can definitely use their flesh to guard you against another tribe and so on and so forth.
How long does Tony and the squad think we can stay here before getting dicey?
Bring it to RP.
Tony, how long do you
Not
think
its
we
name.
how long do you think we could stay here till they might start looking around this spot?
He goes, every tribe is going to have a scouts that look about. Some tribes routine, others less. So I don't know, but eventually they will look here.
They look a bit well organized. They probably do it more often most tribes.
He kind of like looking out at them, nods and says, "Yes, I think we will move a little further south," referring to like the tribe that he is a part of.
Yeah, that's not a good sign if that group wants to be like, you know what, let's move away from this.
I guess I'll bring up. I don't know, guys, if we can really get anything else out of this. Staying here is gonna get us killed, and I don't fancy dying.
We definitely can't stay here for too much longer in case any of the scouts they have around find us. But whether we come back for any other info or I am.
Well, we won't be coming back if I can help it. You don't want to be out here any more than I do, Galen. I feel we've got some decent information out of this. However, I think this commander warrants a little more attention.
Indeed, that's
someone is drawing in tribes. It's cause for concern. If you could, Galen, keep an eye on him with your spyglass.
I can try, at least for now.
The rest of us should look out for scouts. We shouldn't be here. Spend half the day looking. See if anything
he'll just
interesting.
nod and get back to it and just try and find out where this guy's gone from where he was last, and just try and sort of keep an eye on him, see at least from here what we can gather.
Okay, I need 2 checks from you boys. And the Karak that came here with you, they're gonna fall pretty far back. They have no interest in being this far up. They've led you here. They're not actually fully running away yet, though, which is kind of nice. They're actually kind of interested in your interest of what's going on. So they're more than willing to hang much further back, like a borderline a mile back. Let's say 2 kilometers, right? Back for you guys to be able to see with while still trying to provide a degree of like protection in case like for the transportation home, depending on how long you're here, so on and so forth. That being said, I need 2 checks from you guys: a perception check, and I understand that Tesh is going to get something different, and stealth checks. You're going to say something, Tesh?
Yes. Galen would have asked Tethys to thank them for the information, given this has already been a risk for them.
I do like a Kuruk thank you, which is probably like, spit on their feet or something like that. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
I don't think
Whoa, Sel. What are you into, man? Like,
listen, your people are weird, okay? That's all I gotta say.
so it's like, I was the first subscriber to onlyfeed.com, and you're welcome.
I was the only subscriber, okay?
Anno's in chat. We know that's not true.
He pirated. He's Russian.
Perception?
We're also, if we think we're discovered, we are to pull back.
Before you do anything else, Tesh, do you want to luck that, or are you happy with that disgustingly high roll?
Given this is for gathering information, I say
Do it. Yeah, do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Everybody else roll your perceptions, and
6.
you notice all of the things. You notice that Viggo?
Oh, no.
Oh no. Well, I guess that makes sense. I'm the one that's trying to like look, so I'm not worrying about
I'm going to roll a luck on my perception to notice if we're, spotted or whatever.
Yeah,
that
please.
is a good idea. That is a good idea.
Yeah. We're gonna start
still
running
I think what
away.
you meant to say is I'm going to roll luck on perception to notice when we're spotted.
Oh, well,
Oh,
17.
Try your stealth. Who knows? Maybe you'll get a high enough stealth that you're like, oh, what the fuck are you guys doing? Never mind.
Yeah, I don't think that saves a 2 and a 5.
Not only
Yeah,
does
no,
he not like what the fuck are you guys doing, he doesn't even notice that you guys are terrible. Tethys rolls trash. Oh, are you talking
You know
about
what
Viggo?
it
I'm
is?
sorry.
I don't know that I'm at just the right angle that the sun's reflecting off the spyglass.
Exactly.
Like right into the a watchman's eyes.
He's gonna look at someone who's got a spyglass who looks at him at the exact same time, and they just see each other's eye through the spyglass and blinks.
I look at her, and she looks at me, and I look at her, and she looks at me.
Eye contact.
I look at her, she looks at me.
We're gonna start running, boys.
We're
Okay.
gonna have some prolonged eye contact.
Nothing wrong with prolonged eye contact. It was a funny scene in the new Captain America series. I had to like stare into each other's eyes, and they're both like, "This is stupid." So,
Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
yeah.
Thanks, Doc. You made it weird.
Yeah. A doctor is borderline useless, anyways.
Oh,
Keep your psychobabble to yourself, lady.
She also was just a terrible therapist in general.
She's not very good. You know, it was like, are you beating people up again? No. Anyways, so as you're looking out there with your your 32 perception, what you're definitely going to be able to notice is you can see that without a doubt, hands down, the person that seems to be the apex, that seems to have kind of like alpha control over every single solitary Karak out there, seems to be this man that you see walking around. He almost comes off as being some sort of baron or other type of leadership role that happens to be out in that direction. But you also notice that it's not specifically
general.
Generally a baron. So no, you notice that not only is he the one that's kind of giving orders to others, there seems to be some sort of hierarchical structure, which kind of makes sense, because if you look at this as being multiple tribes, each tribe would have its own hierarchy with let's say at the very least, a chieftain or a shaman or the like on top, right? You can also notice that you start looking at the patterns of these people's clothes and so on and so forth. You start to identify, like, okay, I've seen this person come over and speak to this man, this baron or whatever, a good 2 or 3 times, while then also speaking to the other people. Maybe an emissary, maybe a chieftain. Again, it's hard to tell the difference because you don't know Karak culture well enough to be able to identify those kind of details. Actually, I go so far as to say, why don't you roll knowledge local to see if you can pick that up, but you're kind of trash at it.
Yeah. I'm gonna give Virgil a ping first, just for the assist in case. Pure luck. And then... Hey, he's gonna assist.
Virgil's like, those feathers? Yeah, I'm sure those are important. Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Oh, jeez. So, unfortunately, you are able to identify maybe necessarily the importance of the different peoples that are going up to them, as opposed to the ones that he's approaching. But you can see that overall, what he seems to be doing is overseeing productivity, like actually walking around, checking on things, walking around, checking on the tanning that's going on, checking on the levels of materials needed for the tanning, if you will. Actually seeing another area where you actually see that, the giant boar that we've talked about beforehand, that must have been quite the hunt, because at one point in time you actually notice a group of Karak that's 12 strong, that is much bigger than a typical tribe's scouting party. Your character wouldn't know that, but you'd be able to confer that with reports that were read by Jake's characters before and whatnot, where typically speaking, a Karak counting party is 3 or 4, typically speaking. On rare occasions, 6. 12 went out there and they came back with 2 dead boar, like the massive boar. This is probably your character's first time seeing these things. They are ginormous with their clawed hooves in the front and the massive tusks.
All this for Jake, for Viggo, because he knows Viggo would want to record all this. He'd be describing anything. He'd be like literally sitting there lying and just saying out loud some of the stuff he's saying.
I imagine you would also, at points in time, hand him the spyglass to look at exactly like down the sight lines of where you're pointing, and then hand it back.
If I'm not at risk of losing where the guy is and stuff.
No. Spyglasses aren't that great of a magnification, right? Times 2 is not the same thing as a telescope. So.
True.
Yeah.
Good
So,
point,
anyways,
actually.
so it's more like binoculars. So you are able to kind of like collect that kind of information, seeing that they've got that. And then one of the things that you'll notice is that not only are they like skinning the boar and, like I said, collecting the fats and whatnot off the boar, you can see like as they're cutting it out, and literally like axe scraping is a specialized tool that you use for scraping out like the fats and the epithelial tissue. So not epithelial tissue, the connective tissue, whatever the hell it's called, that goes between like the muscles and the flesh on the inside, like scraping that away and then further processing that and breaking it down so that some of that stuff specifically goes over here into these buckets over here, and some of that stuff specifically goes into another area where the buckets are lit over there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can see that they have areas where they're boiling down fats for other reasons. You have to realize that they're also, it's hard to believe because your character is no chemist, but Jake's character, who is actually an alchemist, doesn't even need to make a check. You realize they're making soap.
Oh. Huh. That is unusual.
Weird. That's real weird for here.
Yeah.
Well, that is a massive waste in terms of like survival. Yeah, that's not good. These are all very bad signs. That so just to swing it into RP for a second.
My biggest concern so far, I think, is that this individual has been seemingly making sure that they're working efficiently, which means he has a goal of some kind, a reason to want to get this stuff done, rather than just supplying the current group, I think.
Yes. We have a lot of important information that Paradise military should know. Keep watching, see if anything else comes about. We should be looking at leaving soon, though.
Indeed.
Important things to note is that thus far you have seen zero magic that's being used amongst the people. Whether or not there is or isn't magic, you're not able to identify as of right now. You don't see any other tribes seeming to join to or to leave to pop by or anything like that. So continue.
Yeah, I imagine it's not enough of a zoom to recognize this guy's face or any like to memorize this guy's face. I think.
Okay,
that's correct. I assume.
yeah, you're more than welcome to attempt that.
Oh, I can attempt. Okay, I thought it wouldn't be enough of a zoom.
I mean, to make out the features that you can see. I mean, is that like you can? It's like you're getting a police sketch, you know?
Yeah. Okay. I believe DC 15 is the. Let me double check, but I believe that's met it.
I think it's DC 15 is correct, so you should be good.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. So you're able to gather all of this information here for what it is that you're able to see that they're doing. You see the comings and goings and whatnot that happens to be here, but those comings and goings are all insular. Again, with the exception of what looks to be like a scouting party returning or the hunting party returning, these all seem to be rather insular. They're not like out and about. That being said, Jake, you notice when there are Karak specifically sneaking up on the group of you. Not that whether or not they are coming this way, not whether or not they may or may not have spotted you. You personally notice, kind of like looking about, all of a sudden you look over and it catches your attention. There's a group of 4 Karak that are very intentionally staying low, sticking to the mountains and whatnot that are out here, sticking to the cragged rock areas and making their way to go in towards the group of you. Like very intentionally are creeping up. At the point where you notice this, they're still like a good 300 or so feet away, but you see them.
We've been spotted. Quick, back towards the others.
That would be an instant thing away, get up and go.
Okay. So
try not to drag try not to drag too much attention. We don't want them to chase us.
They've already spotted us. Let's go.
So-
you know, there's a difference between going and then like sprinting dead out from this stuff. You know what I mean?
So Jake,
Yeah,
what do you say?
there's also time. There's also time, you know.
Jake, so when you say "let's go," what's your intention? Like, what do you mean? Because Cell's obviously challenging your meeting here.
Well, Cell's not the commanding officer, so you can shut the fuck up.
But listen, when you die because your con is low, that's your problem. Okay.
So
We can at least retreat to the other, like.
Yeah, that's what that we are to withdraw towards the other group.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it's
we're
a
not going to
mile.
stand up, do jumping jacks, you know, draw as much attention as possible, but we are leaving. Like,
Wait,
grab stuff, leave.
I don't think anybody assumed jumping jacks. I think Cell was questioning whether you're more or less sprinting there.
Yeah, we're I'm not going to fuck ourselves over, but we're leaving. Like, we're leaving now.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay. So, anyways, you guys are going to immediately just kind of yeet out of there. You get up, you're not full on sprinting, but you're very quickly retreating. That being said, I mean, welcome to roll stealth checks. Obviously, there's an intrinsic penalty to it, or at least the bonuses of staying still are completely nullified. You're welcome to roll stealth checks to try to do so. Oh, actually, no, you're not rolling stealth checks because you're not trying to be discreet.
There we go.
Because you want to go quick. So you're welcome to roll perception checks, but honestly, the bar is very low. Some of you probably auto succeed. Okay, so you have 3 successes. So you very much hear as you guys are moving off, not immediately, but probably about a minute or two after you start moving away, from the realization that you've left and whatnot that you're retreating you hear from behind you a war cry.
That would be time to move.
Times
Yep.
4 speed, baby.
Okay. Since I know that I have a medium load at the moment, I am actually going to, where is it? I'm going to rapid adjust to give myself some extra speed. I'm gonna take off. Where is it?
To also just be clear, you should only have 5 pounds of my stuff on you, which is just a bit.
Yes, I know. I've been keeping up with the total weight.
Got you. Just making sure everything's added up.
So I'm dropping spiked carapace to just add an extra 5-foot speed because I'm at the moment I'm the same speed as them. I just want to add 5-foot speed just so that it's a little bit easier for him to maintain the pace. If that makes sense. Like it's just a little bit extra maneuverability with the extra weight on him.
And you won't be able to switch back to spike carapace until tomorrow, correct?
Yep, correct.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what's your speed, rate of speed now?
So my running speed now is
V-Sword, is that a question
35.
or a request?
35.
What's the speed of a donkey or mule?
40,
Okay.
but it's also laden.
Can it keep up with us?
If you cut off a bunch of the shit on it, like if you more or less just cut off one of its saddlebags.
Would it be reasonable to have had this mule with the orcs that were back to the Tony and the gang that backed up? So
If you left it with them, they might get hungry.
they're reasonable people.
How
I
much
don't know.
weight does the mule have on it now after the day, like the stuff that's been taken off of it from like its own feed and
So it's done how many days of travel since that the initial what you got 3 days total travel? I think it said after you guys were able to take care of the grazing. Correct?
yes,
If I'm wrong?
well, that sounds right.
Yeah. So 4
Yeah.
days total travel, 3 days after you left the grazing area. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So that being said, 30 pounds from its own feed, like its own source. And then for each of you, that's 3 water skins for each of you. So 4 water skins, sorry, 12 water skins is 12 times 4 is 48 pounds.
Don't include me in that because I've got my rations and water on me. So that
Well,
we had
include whatever
separate.
you would like to include, right? So so whatever rations, feed, and water skins you take off. Feed is £1 pound each per day. Water skins are 4 pounds each per day. And what's it called? your rations are 1 pound, your water's 4 pounds, its feed is 10 pounds. There we go. It's hard to say.
So I have 3 water skins and 3 rations on it for my personal supplies of food, like for what I would need. So, and all of Viggo's stuff I think on it for his food and water.
So how much weight does it need to lose to be
Not
the
encumbered.
next tier down? Who's tracking this one?
You talking about for the mule?
Yeah,
Let me just see.
I think Scott, you were the one tracking the mule.
How much
It's on my character sheet.
Oh, okay.
Scott wrote it in there, yeah.
Its light load is 230 pounds.
Then it should be good.
What does that bring it down to?
I mean, if we've had 4 days of water, or 4 days of, it should have like what, 7? Math is hard.
So what's its
Oh yeah,
light load,
Braga
sorry?
was actually never above light load, so it was fine.
It's 231.
Oh, so Braga's
yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We're good.
That's right. We deliberately didn't want Braga to get above light load. That's why we shifted stuff around. Yeah. Okay. No, we're good then.
Okay. So Braga speed's 40. So is Jake once again the point of the slow point?
What's its speed, sorry?
Its speed is 40. What's yours? Right? Isn't it 40 or is it 30?
Mine's 30.
Oh, that's right. It's 30, not 40. That's right. We discovered that last session.
Mine's 30
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah. Everyone's 30. I'm 35, but I basically did that because I know that I'm way down more than you guys. So in case shit hits the fan, I have extra maneuverability.
Oh, by the way, driving to and from work on the highway, you know those like highway signs that they are like digital signs? It's like a bunch of different lights they use to like whatever give you messages. It's been saying fireworks get lit. You shouldn't be. Drive safe. I was like, oh, that's good. That's good.
That is good.
Yeah, because you know 4th of July, right?
Yeah.
Tesh, what potions did you buy? Or did I get used to get?
I have endure elements. Pass without trace.
Yeah. I've got the
Protection
same.
from chaos.
What I suggest we do is if we get in like out a little bit in front of them, let Tethys ride the pony, even though it's going to slow it down massively, but me and you can make tracks to go in a different direction. Then we pass without trace and then cut back in.
Are there tracks being made, or is this like the broken barren land where there's no tracks being made?
An average person would have a very difficult time, to say the least, to follow tracks here. The Kruk, however, I mean, it's their homeland, so that's easy for them. But they know how to do it. A combination of whether it be a boot print in the dust or a disturbed shrub, taste or smell of the air, etc., etc. It's definitely possible.
All right, so let's just start going towards the
Squad.
Tony and that. Yeah, Tony's
Absolutely.
squad.
Perfect. So your characters are going to immediately, like once you realize that there's that war cry behind you, that or whatever they're doing back there, right? So what you start hearing the war cry, you like pick up the pace, boys, and you immediately start like sprinting to start heading back, making plans as you go. Do we cut the pack off at Braga? No, Braga's fine for now, and start jogging along, et cetera, et cetera. So that being said, you guys are going to start sprinting that direction, formulating a little plan to drink your potions and to go off in a different direction. For him to hop on the mule is what it is. Do you want him to remove saddlebags from it to try to lighten its load, or just?
What I'm thinking is we don't drink the potion until after we've split off.
No, I understand that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
Jumping
What
on
do
the
you
mule will just slow the mule down and me down.
I mean, there's no proper saddle for you or anything, so it's got.
Yeah.
So it's
and
going to be physically painful for the poor thing, but hey,
And I
maybe
could-
maybe
the
it'll
other
live.
thing also is I doubt that they don't have the numbers to go after both. This
Yeah.
isn't a case of where they're going to be like pick one or the other. and try and make our path look the most
Yeah.
appetizing.
See, I was thinking that they've spotted intruders. They're probably going to go for the intruders rather than a pony. They can pick up the pony later on because it's not really important. But this is my thinking. Not as important as people running on foot.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish we
I mean,
had.
did we get an idea?
I wish we had
numbers?
all of the potions that you'd gotten for I've already forgotten Neil's character's name.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I
Tristan.
got you guys to get that potion, but
Right here.
obviously
Yeah.
the TV doesn't have it.
How many
Tristan.
orcs are chasing us?
So you don't know the exact number yet, but again, it's typical scouting parties 4, so you can kind of assume 4 as of right now until you see otherwise. Well, I'll be able to answer that question better after you start flat out running for a bit and you look back.
We should just keep running. They won't send that
Yeah,
too
I
many
think
more.
probably-
we just keep going.
Yeah.
So we're not doing the Q party of plan of splitting up.
No.
No, we're
I
just
don't
gonna-
think it'll be enough, and it will use up our pass without trace potions. I feel like it's probably not worth it.
And we don't want to get caught where it's 2v4 or
Exactly.
whatnot, right?
That's
Or
what I'm
1v4.
worried about.
Okay. So you guys start making your way as quickly as you can, trying to run back to the group with Geeka and whatnot that are back there. But let's be honest, you got a pony, a mule. It doesn't exactly move very fast. Viggo is also a person that
all of
moves
them.
at this comfortable pace.
We get our
Viggo can
contracts
move
to
faster than all y'all, thanks, if I feel like it.
Cell's character there, Tethys, isn't exactly a speed boy. So you have literally Gallon, who occasionally has to look back and realize we gotta slow down for these.
Well, the reason why I wanted the extra speed is so realistically I'm not having to run as flat out as I have to be since I'm carrying more. I want to make sure I'm keeping pace with them without, and also carrying the extra weight.
Okay, no, you completely understand. You're good to go. But you're still slowing yourself down. You're still like knocking it down a couple.
I am slowing myself down
couple
to
gears.
keep up with them.
Yeah. So one of those like driving in traffic with a fast car, like Anyways, so you guys are running along. At this point in time, whoever you think is going to be the best for kind of glancing back and keeping an eye, go ahead and roll a perception check real quick to see how many it is that's following you. But otherwise, we're going to have to do this as a chase skill test, skill challenge.
I also want to just while we're running, I want to down one of my Endure Elements potions.
Okay.
If that's all right with you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I'm going to look back because I at least have time to do so without messing with my running, and I rolled a. Oh well, that wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
Well, you know for a fact there's 4. If there's any others, because kind of like the way they're dodging, it's the way they're kind of like disappearing from view and reappearing into view in the broken lands that you are with the rises and falls and the actual like the levels
They're
of the
still
ground.
following us.
It's too difficult for you to be definitively sure there's more whether or not there's more or less than 4. But you believe that there's still 4 chasing you. That being said, so you guys are going to go into a skill challenge. It's actually going to be made considerably easy by the much easier, I should say, by the fact that Jake, your character, was able to notice them before you guys left, so you got a bit of a heads up, and you weren't moving too slowly on the retreat either. So while currently there's 4 chasing you, but they of course did do their war cry, it's whether or not you can get away from these 4 till you have like the protection of having an extra Karak back there to protect you. I feel like I'm speaking circularly, and I do apologize. I haven't had my morning coffee yet. So back to your game, you guys are going to start being able to run away. So same as before with the skill challenge, you get to roll for initiative. So I'll give you 1 second to make sure initiative counter is clear, and it is not. All right.
Oh no, it's definitely not.
You guys are welcome to go ahead and click your token and roll for initiative for this.
Ooh.
Huge rolls.
Okay, so I'm just going to count 2 of these guys for the sake of initiatives. They're going to roll with +2s. Nothing crazy.
Oh god. Oh no, it's Jake. Yes.
That was Jake. Thank fuck. I saw the 19 and was like, oh no.
We're all really high. Oh. Wow.
So was he.
That's just really unlucky.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Looks like you're the slowest.
Well, I'm faster than the slowest orc though. Okay, I got more.
you'll know I got a daddy's dice that. Just
Well, then I can luck dice mine.
all right, you luck first. Since you rolled first. And same with Viggo, since you rolled first,
Do we want to luck it?
you guys gotta luck it. Because you're both tied.
Do we want to?
We let make the distance.
Okay, I'll luck. Okay.
All right,
So I'm
cool. And
I'm
Jake, I had yours.
22.
You used yours. All right, cool.
Okay, there you go.
All right, perfect. So let's modify your numbers. So Tethys got a 23, right? Sorry,
20.
a 22 total. Yep. And what's the other one's name? Viggo. You got a 23 total. There we go. All right, let me roll my daddy's dice.
24. Oh, for which one?
Oh, the first one, of course. So the first one being the
24.
21. So it becomes a 24. So Gallon beats me, but I beat what's his face. All right.
Jake.
And I actually only had one. I didn't know how many.
Oh,
I
he
had.
did. Yeah.
I won't lie, I was gonna hope I had 0, and I was just gonna force some dice out of you guys. By having one and winning a roll is actually kind of nice.
Exactly. That's why you were saying you roll first. It's
Well,
'cause
you guys also did roll first, so you have to
I know.
maintain the
Yeah.
pattern.
The second you said that, I'm like, he's just trying to get us to use dice.
I think it was worth the usage.
I think it.
So do I.
I think it was because we get at the worst case scenario, we got the daddy's dice out. Now,
Bro.
Oh no, no! Hey, chat.
no,
do
chat,
it, chat.
please, I beg of you, I was smart.
Remember last combat? We almost died. Okay.
Did I ever tell you that top looks really good on you, chat? Did I ever tell you that? You look
He's
very,
lying, Jack. Don't listen to him.
You look really nice today. You know, very put together. I was just saying.
He's
that,
just
you know,
using you, chat.
Dude, I just realized how high all of these initiatives are.
Yeah, they're really fucking high.
Fucking huge.
This was.
Is that a new
was
pair
like-
of pants? Because damn. Wow, creepy voice.
I love Viking jokes on you. I'm not wearing a shirt.
Nice. Or what's hey Josh. Hey Josh. Do you want to go blueberry picking with me tomorrow morning?
It sounds very wholesome.
Run,
Actually,
Josh, run.
he still hasn't texted me about it, and I asked him about it like 2 days ago. So I assume he's just not coming. I assume he's
Just
going with
playing
it.
about live? Wow.
Oh, I meant to message
I
you
meant to
about that.
message you about that.
But then I realized I'm a trash person and I'm not going to text you. That's all. Yeah, no, I get it. It's cool. Anyways, so what it is he's currently in New England. Summer is like Florida always. So he's like reverting back to his baseline Floridian trash person. So it's having a hard time showing common decency. It's a hard thing for him. Anyways, so back to the game. You guys are able to have your the start of the initiative. Then when it comes to doing chase scenes, there are skill tests like we had talked about beforehand against set DCs. But beyond just basic skill tests, you're also able to, for flat out running, for like, I just want to push it as hard as I can. You're actually able to make constitution checks as well. So just a flat out constitution check. In accordance to the basic rules of Pathfinder, you can actually flat run, that's max times, so times 3, times 4, times 5, whatever it is, a number of rounds that equal to your constitution score. So let's say Tethys is a 10, it's 10 rounds. Let's say what's his face there? Gallon is a 20 rounds. So 1 minute or 2 minutes, right? But this kind of is supposed to be a bit more nitty gritty. So the thing is just to like push yourself really hard for that like little scene there. And remember, chase scenes aren't meant to be in a necessarily specific amount of time. So that all aside, the first person to go is actually Gallon. Gallon, you're trying to. Oh, the other thing you do is it's not just necessarily a matter of outpowering them, running faster than them, or even necessarily trying to outmaneuver them. Imagine like a rooftop chase scene, trying to like outmaneuver. You also could try to do things to cause disruptions in they're chasing you. So you can imagine, like, let's say you're a wizard and you threw up like an obscuring mist, and then you took a hard turn and they didn't know which turn you took. That sort of a thing could be what you impact it with as well. So again, back to you, Tesh. What does Galen do opening up this chase scene?
So I got a couple of ideas. So my best stuff to use is perception, acrobatics, and sense motive, in terms of how we could use those in stuff like this. My thoughts with perception would be trying to, like, look for a spot where, because you say the land is fairly like up and down, a spot where if we were to make a hard turn, as the second we get over it, it would benefit us because they might lose some momentum through trying to regain on our track from that.
Sure.
That be okay?
I mean, sure. So, one more time. You're trying to what way use the terrain? So, sorry.
So looking for a spot in terrain where when we go over it, if we make a hard turn, they might lose
this is
momentum
what I meant. When I meant that hard turn bit, that was more for like a cityscape where there are like many different alleyways you can go down. Here, where it's rather it's open. These are barren lands. So it's not like there's trees or anything like that to obscure, but it is like the broken ground and whatnot. Yeah. So rather than saying necessarily a hard turn, one of the things you could potentially do, but this would require almost like, well, you would be the ones that rolling for everybody. Almost like imagine like a stealth check. Like as you like jump down a cliff, which jumping down a cliff could be a check in and of itself. Jumping down past that obstacle, you can then like have everybody hang back and hide for a second. So when they look over the cliff, like I don't know which way they went. And maybe like they start going the wrong direction. Then you erupt out from where it was that you're hiding. Those kind of things. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just look for advantageous terrain, if you like.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah. Then in this case, I'll just look for advantageous terrain. Like if we go around it, they can't still cut across to catch up. They have to go around it too.
So you're going to roll a survival check for the party to build off of.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's it's not too bad. And that is a trained one as well. So
jumping off a cliff seems safe.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nice.
It's a really good survival check for you. I think you have the highest modifier in survival, right? It's just Jake has a situational bonus that he's been using. Yeah. So anyways, our circumstantial, my apologies. So anyways, so you're, as you guys are like running along and, you can imagine Viggo kind of calling out, Galen, like keep an eye out because he knows that you're the most receptive person, whatever it is. Your character is looking about and you're able to see that the terrain is, again, broken, as we've talked about a million times, a huge steep drop-offs with areas where as you step on the ground itself, the ground kind of like crumbles beneath your feet, making a bit of a rough terrain to even try to get through, et cetera, et cetera. With your 23 check right there, which is absolutely sexy, you're able to realize that there's a specific area in the terrain where the ground does get a bit broken, but more importantly, you're able to see, like, you're pretty sure by looking at the cracks that are over there, the way that it's patterned, if you guys walk along that area where the ground breaks and you follow a specific path where almost seems like the broken areas where the ground is crumbling beneath you is almost like growing or spiraling outward in a circular pattern in two different areas coming near to each other, and allows for almost like a crease area in the middle where sure some of it might be a bit broken, but overall it's going to be significantly stronger than otherwise. So if they end up coming at you at even the wrong angle of approach or go too many wide, whatever it might be, they're going to end up being stuck in the rough terrain, but you're able to continue pushing through. You're able to notice that there. So you can go ahead and roll for, that's a skill for you, so a trained skill. So I think for you, that's a 1d8 plus modifier, so wisdom score. Next up after that would be the Karak.
So that one's
what was that?
6.
Cool. So next up after that is going to be the Karak that are chasing you. So they know this land very, very well, right? This is the scouts to this group, so on and so forth. So they're equally going to go ahead and make a survival check because they know this land incredibly well. Luckily for you, they're not exactly the most wise of people. So even if they have 2 ranks, which is 2, plus 3 for being a class skill, right?
Yeah, I gotta remember that you gotta look at the what your modifier for the skill is as well, not what your ranks are. Because even if you succeed, you'll only get the +1 opposed to like a plus. So now we see what they get. So I forgot for these. It's as important what your ability modifier is for the skill as what your modifier for the skill is. But
I have a question, Scott.
Yes.
What time of day is it?
So if you remember when you guys were originally traveling, oh no, actually, because you jump back and forth a bunch. When you guys originally got here, I'm so sorry, going back to last week, and I didn't mark down what time of day it was at the end of the session. I believe you guys were getting here, and it was because they're doing tons of work right now. It's going to be probably heading towards to dusk, right? So not quite there, but heading towards the dusk. Obviously, when you're doing tanning and whatnot, utilizing the sun is something that's going to be naturally like very beneficial. We had already talked about beforehand how they would have like almost like reflective areas using bits of like polished metal to enhance their ability for boiling stuff. That's all the kind of stuff that you're going to need a sun for doing. So heading towards dusk, because you guys have been spending a couple of hours watching them, but still not dark yet.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we could have used the sun to help us to blind them, but we can't because we're heading west. In the sense, no, wait, yeah, it is. We can, right? Because we're heading west.
You are heading south. So you're heading southwest, yes.
Okay.
oh, we are heading southwest. Interesting.
So
Okay.
just note, orcs kind of suck in the sun, or could.
All right. So that being said, I also succeeded. Also got to roll. I'm actually ahead of you right now on the success counter. With chase scenes, you don't want these to be anywhere near as high of a DC as what we did before. So your target number is not 45. I think it did last time. Your target number this time is going to be much lower. So successes are very important. That's why initiative is super important. Next up is going to be Viggo. Viggo, you guys are able to find that area and run over towards it. What's your character doing? So I miss Mike's character with his ability to just like soften all the ground around them. Anyways, go ahead.
I was thinking of similar, like checking out the terrain, but maybe like one of the broken bits where they know we've gone down. I don't know how long Alchemist Fire would burn for. I don't know if throwing one just more or less in their path. You know what I mean? But if it doesn't burn for very long,
that's the equivalent of you're chasing somebody and they roll up a ball of socks and throw it on the ground between you and them, and you're like,
well, thanks for that. That's I don't have any other things, buddy. Can I look at? I have nothing to assist us in this situation, right? I can roll perception. I don't know, maybe to see if they're changing. I don't know where they're coming at us from, or something.
What do you mean?
Alter our path anyway.
So again, with the lands being relatively open, he had discovered that one little advantage you're able to take situation that you're able to take advantage of, kind of slowing down their approach. I would say no for that one right there. One of the things you can do, Jake, is as you guys are approaching that little spot, is if you want to be the one that rolls the acrobatics check for how it is you guys navigate through it. Just trying to give you a bit of a suggestion here as you're trying to decide. And again, for everybody that's watching, skill challenges are still relatively new to them. So they're utilizing skills instead of combative ability to overcome encounters.
What about knowledge of nature? Is there anything like using the terrain, like those? You know how you said something about like harder terrain or something where we could possibly, get around it or something, or using
that's a survival check. Right, because identifying like almost like sinkholes, stuff like that, that's a survival check. Knowledge nature is more like understanding, that plant is actually X versus Y, and these berries are this versus that. Oh, that animal is actually, like, no, mate, that's a wallaby.
All right, well, I mean... I don't know, survival or acrobatics. Acrobatics ain't that great for me. I'm not gonna lie.
You can do whichever one you would prefer. You can roll either one of those. I'm perfectly fine with it.
I mean, I'll try survival because
Sure.
I
You go right ahead.
am trained in it. So
Jeez, you guys are rolling very well.
Nice.
So, with the survival check, one of the things that you're able to notice as you're running along and going towards the area that was discussed beforehand, kind of like the narrow gap where it's not too bad between it. You realize quickly, if you guys you hate the idea of almost jumping, right? Because you do have poor Braga with you. But if you almost do a little bit of hops between certain spots, you can actually get to areas that are a little bit stronger that you can jump through without the ground breaking necessarily as much beneath you. But more important than that, you actually realize that if at one point in time, like so that straight path that Gallon had noticed beforehand, you actually realize if you cut off just a little bit early, we're talking like change your angle just a little bit early, as soon as you like leave out of that area or right before you leave out of that area, you might be able to actually beguile them a little bit more to hit this whole dangerous broken ground area at, again, the wrong angle. Coming at it sideways instead of going in exactly the tunnel or path that they need to is going to greatly reduce the speed that they're able to travel through. And if this happens to be one of those natural danger spots I mentioned beforehand, which you don't know if it is or isn't, there's no way that you guys would be able to identify it right now. You're too new to the land, where it could actually legitimately like, cut them up as they go. Well, that'd be really nice. You know what I mean? So you're successful in this. I think you're trained in this skill to 1d8 plus wisdom modifier. Which I think for you is a 1. So right now you guys have 6 successes versus my 8. Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, you guys have 13 successes versus my 8. All right, next up, Cell, you've had some time to listen to them kind of ask questions and whatnot. How does your character handle it?
So I have an additional question.
Sure.
If I were to just try the constitution check of running, right?
Yeah.
Because I have the endurance feat, would I get a D8 on it?
Oh, you mean because there's like an additional training?
Yeah, because I get like a +4 to continue running checks.
I would argue actually yes on that one. Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just help, I guess, get the team running and like I guess maybe running proper form, whatever, how you want to flavor it.
I was gonna say actually because it's a flat ability check. I think it's actually a D6. You just get the +4 for your skill check. So it's your Constitution is whatever that modifier is, plus Endurance gives you the +4 for that check. But because it's a flat ability score, it's actually a D6 plus modifier is what you're rolling, as opposed to the D8. Yeah, it's gonna be a D6, sir.
Yeah, I was saying because I was like trained in running. Could I get a D8?
No, but that trained in running gives you a +4 to your check to begin with. So what's your Constitution score?
It's a 2.
A +2.
14.
So you'd be rolling with a +6 instead of a +2, which is a much better chance of even succeeding. And then you'd be rolling with a D6 +2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'll go for it. Should I pop my Winifreds on this one?
It's up to you. Ooh. It's up to you, man. That's going with a plus 11. That's a huge modifier.
I could do acrobatics though with Winifred's, like getting us around, like onto advantageous terrain, like again, which would be significantly better. Does it matter if if an ability is a class skill, or if you just have ranks in it?
If it is, it's a difference between a D4, a D6, and a D8.
Yeah.
Like so a trained skill that is not a class skill is a D, is a D6. A trained skill that is a class skill is a D8. An untrained skill, and a class skill that's untrained is a D6. Okay. And then a untrained, unclassed skill is a D4.
Yeah, can I do acrobatics to get us?
What's up?
Trained is a point in it, right?
Yeah.
Trained is at least one rank. Yep.
And then the tick is class skill, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Just trying to remember the terminology.
Yep, you're good.
Could I do
Yes, so skill focus brings you up to a D12, Steve. Go ahead.
So could I do like an acrobatics check to like get us up onto even more advantageous terrain, like we cut off onto like
Yeah, good. You roll
a harder to see location.
You go ahead and roll it.
Okay, I'm gonna do Winifred's here, so add a +5, right? Winifred's?
Yep.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
So this is a +10 in total, 27.
It's hidden, unfortunately. Let me nice, 17.
It's not acrobatics is not a class skill, but it's a D6 +4.
Okay, you go right ahead.
That's still real. That +4 is the
Which is why I didn't want to do the running, because it's D6 +2. So I mean, rolled low, but still 7.
No, that's still
I mean,
good.
that's not bad. You guys just got up to a 20 total. So this is what ends up happening. So we're going to re-narrate the entire scenario. We're going to stick with the same narration as beforehand, right? So you guys immediately start running and is like, Gallon, find us a way out of here. And Gallon looks about and is like, you know, with his voice, his reverb voice, is like, there's some of that broken ground over there. I think I see a path through it. You guys start heading through it, and Viggo's like, there is. Yeah, this way. And you guys are navigating through the path. And of course, unfortunately, you have poor Braga with you, right? So I don't remember who's the one that's actually guiding Braga, but doing the best they can to try to guide Braga through it. And then you even have Viggo points out, he's like, no, I think I see another path off. And looking down, Gallon's able to kind of like affirmatively nod, saying, yeah, I can get us out of here. But then right before you step onto the path off, Tethys is like, wait. And Tethys goes, let me go first. I think I can get us through this. And immediately starts like just kind of like hopping and stepping through, guiding them. No, step here. The way I'm going. Yeah, bring Braga that way. And starts like stepping through this area. Then the Karak that are kind of like chasing you from behind, they come round where it is that they had just slightly broken sight from you guys as you start doing these like skips or steps through that last little tail ends there. And because they see you not running through like a straight up and down in a circle, you guys kind of like traveled straight down and then took like a 20-degree turn sideways. So they're no longer like as concerned, like, oh, I need to chase whatever angle they're coming from. Oh, I need to follow this exact path. They can much more easily come from a different angle, looking to cut across or whatever it might be. And in doing so, end up running the broadside through all of this like very rough area and cracking their way through it, giving you guys enough success that it slows them down considerably. So you can just like not even, you look back or whatever, but not even like turning to face them or anything like that. Just full on keep sprinting. Successfully winning the scenario. I even get my second turn. So this is like where the perk of like success when you need a small number of them. Awesome. So you guys are able to break free from them. You didn't kill them. You didn't stop them or anything like that, but were able to widen the gap enough by the time that they got out of there. You're far enough away that they're going to be able to see that you approached another bigger group. So they hopefully they were able to make out who you were, or the fact that you were dressed differently. The fact that you had a mule with you might stand out. But they definitely see you approaching another larger group of people. And with the number of them that there are,
stand out a little bit.
with the number of them that there are, and later on you're able to kind of like confirm, yeah, there were 4 of them. Just to be clear, it was 4. It wasn't like it was a different number. When you're approaching the other, what did I say was this group over here? I think it was like 6 or 7. So
5.
5. That's what it was. That was 5.
There were 6 originally, but 1 didn't come.
That's right. So
right,
it's 5 that came with you. I had somebody roll in chat. So by the way, when you're joining the 5 and making you 8 total, you're doubling their number. There's no way that they're going to go approach this scenario because they don't know what your capabilities are. You have the high ground, et cetera, et cetera. So they end up kind of like hanging back and almost like a hunter that's not quite willing to give up its prey just yet. They hang considerably far back, like outside of archery range, et cetera, and are just kind of like watching from the distance. Now they have the sun settling west. You guys are traveling west, so you do have like the light above behind you that's kind of illuminating you very well. So they're able to get a good count, you can imagine, of how many of you there are, as well as maybe a couple of other details. But they hang again outside of archery range. They're talking like a good 1,200 feet away, and they're just watching you. Imagine that's a considerable distance. If you don't know how far 1,200 feet is, very far.
Oh, no, that's far. Yeah,
you're not getting a lot of detail. So, but there's no trees or anything like that to break up their sight.
Well, we made it out of that at least. Now we have a different problem. I don't point towards them.
We should just continue moving throughout the night more than we normally would. They won't follow
Tethys, if
too
you
far.
could speak with Geeka and see if he can take us back to the boat.
Hey, Tony.
Nobody responds.
It's his nickname. Me and Geeka have agreed his nickname is Tony. It's what he wanted to be named, but his mother didn't name him that. Okay.
So can you and I agree what your nickname is going to be?
Sure.
Okay. He turns back and is like, "Oh, slave lord."
But you know what? That's fair. You know what? I'm Perrin. Well, yeah, that's fair.
Wow. All right, so go ahead.
Hey, Tony. Can you take us back to the ship?
They look at the fact that you got seen, and he's like, "Yes, looks like there might be more coming soon." And you want to roll perception checks, boys?
I was just about to ask if I could, with the spyglass, of course.
We're all the same.
I
But
love
you're
how I
all
rolled in 2 and got the same.
Come on, Jake. Come on, Jake. Can you do? Oh, you ruined it, Jake. You ruined everything. So
He takes the spyglass from me. Just uses snatch. Huh?
He takes it gently, to be clear.
no.
Oh yeah, gently.
No, he puts like a bit of a fishing line on his eyeball and just throws it out there for a little while and then reels it back in. So,
He took his eyeball out during the run, and it's just slowly making its way back.
so, anyways,
Flash column.
so you guys didn't know? Jake's a secret race. So, anyways, so you're able to discern that. Remember the war cry they did earlier? Yeah, that didn't go without its own important details. Another 24 Karuk have started making their way this direction. So yeah, continuing to move and pushing it is probably a good idea because those groups can just continue to move forward. If you were to join up with nearly almost a score and a half of Karuk joining onto your whopping group of 8, that would not go very well. It's more than 3 times what you guys got. So you immediately start like, we got to keep moving. Yeah. Oh shit. And then immediately start turning to head your way back to the south and to the west. Because obviously they're not going to be sprinting the whole while, and neither are you. But you are going to be trying to push it to travel longer than you want to. So unfortunately, you get to a point where you're going to have to make constitution saves to make sure you can keep pushing. Same as before, I'm going to break down my Karaka into groups of into 2 groups of 4. 2 groups, and I will roll for them on the side. Yes, Tesh.
Fort saves, you mean?
No, contracts.
Oh,
Hold on. Force march. Let me just double check.
Forced march is contracts to avoid non-lethal damage, at least from endurance feat.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it's contracts.
Yeah.
I just want to confirm because when
I
you
guess
question
we
it, I
always
want to check.
Rode on horses.
Constitution check. Yes.
I guess we always rode on horses when we were force marching in Kingmaker.
Either that or I just forgot. So either way, it's just the first thing. It's just a DC 10 and it's +2 for each additional hour, and you guys are going to want to travel for probably in total 4 extra hours if possible. Like if you can go 4 extra hours, that's guaranteed safety. Is what I'm able to give you that info. So
Yeah,
the
it's really
first check
far.
is going to be a DC 10.
Okay, I get a +4 to this. It's hard to add it to con mod, so it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to,
so
goddamn.
Oof, that's rough.
If you want to add,
Sorry,
add
this-
it as a temp,
this isn't
add it as
fortitude.
a modifier.
This is Constitution check. Yes.
Oh, lovely.
I would have to
Like a
add like the temp to, and I would have to change like the score, which is
No,
why
no,
it's
you
just,
can add it as a buff. In buffs, just add a buff that adds
Oh.
the plus. Yeah, it's
I
how I
didn't know
did the Sturge debuff for that as well, because that was also infuriating.
I never use buffs. I don't know how they work.
You'll be able to figure it out more or less. Plus Constitution mod +2 space Constitution mod I think works. But either way, so
Plus-
or
it's
plus
more.
8 Constitution.
plus blah enhancement to con will work.
It's if it's an enhancer. You can just do a blank, which is without
I
writing
think it's
enhancement.
plus 2, and then you write 2 con.
Oh, that's right.
so
TO. Yeah,
as
that's
in
right.
TO,
Okay.
like write it like a sentence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, so Tesh, anything you could do to that 5 you've got there against a DC of 10? Is there any abilities, anything that you've got if you want to double check your character before you automatically fail?
Oh, let's check auto hypnosis real quick. Sorry, I should really keep auto hypnosis open because it is such a unique thing.
And assuming there's nothing you could do, if you want to choose somebody in chat to roll a d6 for you. Actually, just to get it out of the way, why don't you choose somebody first while you're reading?
Yeah, V sword.
It's a d6 to V sword. V sword, remember, bigger numbers are better.
I can ignore caltrop wounds.
Oh, wait with the additional mods. I know you're probably just testing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to do it.
So plus sign, and then I would suggest for the sake of this specifically, plus sign the number 8 space TO space Constitution. It's a huge boon to your Constitution, but that's going to increase your modifier by 4.
Yeah, I didn't realize I had to put the 2. That's what the problem was.
Yeah, that's what Jake was saying before. Okay. Anything, Tesh? Or are you good?
No, auto hypnosis doesn't work that way. I can ignore wounds that would stop me from like being able to march, but not make it better for marching.
That works.
All right, so you take 1d6. So you take 3 points of non-lethal damage from fatigue. So you gain the fatigue condition, and you take 3 points of non-lethal damage, which is of course a concern because you guys never fully recovered from your last fight. Now we're gonna do rounds number 2. If you want to go ahead and roll that for me, Tethys, with your newly enhanced. Oh, hold up. Cut out group 1. Cut out group 2. Cut out group 1 is going to take a d6.
Did you roll for Tony group?
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Not the bad news. Okay, they're good. All right, so they're tired. All right, now you boys are your round 2 of this. Instead, we can do it much more rapidly. You know, DC is 12.
I was a lot more confident when I thought these were fort saves.
Jake, DC is 12. Anything you do to that, Viggo, or no? Okay, choose somebody in chat to roll you a d6 while I roll mine. This is the first. Oops, sorry, ignore that. Wow,
Steve.
group 1 sucks. And then I'll take the d6. Well, I have to roll it. It's only fair I roll it again. 1. That's even better. All right, so only 3 points so far for that one group. Cool. Steve does 5 points of non-lethal damage to you, Jake. I think you're the person that can take it the most out of everybody. And you have the fatigue condition, so make sure you put that onto your character sheet. This is going to be round number 3 of Constitution checks. Go ahead, boys.
Oh, thank fuck.
Finish up, Jake.
Oh, that was a 17 for so long.
Who do you want to roll that for you this time, sir?
Steve can roll it again.
That's painful.
Oof.
Okay. So with 2 failures, you're actually exhausted now. So you actually have the exhausted state. The exhausted state's pretty friggin' rough to be in because that means even tomorrow you're waking up fatigue, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's saying it so makes you think he has a trick up his sleeve. Either way, let's do one more round, the final round of con saves, and you have your poor commander. It's probably at this point in time, literally just like, I can't. And he's like climbs up on top of what's her name, Braga, and just to have Braga keep pushing him on because even though everybody's tired, he's just really, really roughing it. And we're talking one more failed save, and he's literally just gonna like on the as you guys are traveling. All right, everybody, go ahead and roll. This is the big one. The 4th one's DC 18.
Yeah, I can't make this, dude.
You can.
It's a -2, right?
He doesn't make it. You could have rolled well. You have a +2 modifier. You could have rolled well. Last group. Go!
Oh, they get the 20.
Well, they're the ones that failed twice before, so they were also in the same boat as Jake. So awesome. Okay, did we get one more D6 for Jake?
How much HP do you have, Jake?
They're rolling right now.
I had 27.
Okay.
Can you have somebody roll for you? Oh, there we go. It was just 6
There we
Steves.
go.
2 more points. Okay, cool. So call it a day. Unfortunately, you guys want to do those 4 full checks of pushing on, but eventually your commander, even though like maybe an hour and change ago, the commander, maybe it was his decision, maybe it was a suggestion from one of you lot, but decides to climb up onto Braga, and Braga pushing him on, and then eventually the commander just falls on the ground unconscious, just like straight up falls off of Braga unceremoniously. That being said, this poses a conversation RP moment with the group. One of the Karuks looks down and says, weak, but this is in their language.
I don't respond to that.
One of the other Karuk looks down and says, do we eat or do we leave? One of the other Karuks look over, ignoring what you say. One of the other Karuks look over and say, his meat looks soft, like baby. Maybe we should take for food. They kind of like nodding a little bit. One says, all right, chop them. Easy in pieces.
Hold.
Yeah.
That's not happening. We have a different way of working in the slaverlands of Del.
Your little friend there, Grika, points down at him and says, weak. He knows.
Remember when he fought those orcs alone?
They nod and say, yes, he was
not
strong then. He is not strong now.
You guys have listen. I just say to Galen, help me put him on Braga, and I just start lifting him up.
Oh yeah.
You guys start going to like try to hoist him back onto Braga, and one of the others calls out with indignation, like genuine, like it seems like they're genuinely angry, like you're taking something that belongs to him away from him, like you're taking his property, right? Is that kind of like the tone you're getting off of him? He points and points angrily at the fact that you're kind of hoisting him up and says, weak, slow us down. We need go quick or die.
Look, I don't got much of a choice, okay? If he doesn't get back, they're gonna hang us, okay? And we'll be dead.
He dead, you dead, we live, he says, and he reaches over for a bit of rope. One of the others looks down and says, you want to hang now?
Listen,
he's like,
you guys, if you don't want to risk it, you guys can just go on ahead. We'll brave the risk. You guys will be quicker. If they catch us, they'll catch us and kill us, and you'll be fine. No loss to you.
Why don't you go ahead and roll a diplomacy check on that? I know you suck at diplomacy. Poor Jake.
Yeah, I'm better at other things. But
Oh.
You consistently roll trash on it too.
I know.
You're not even like in an area where you could just like chance like.
I mean, this is a pretty reasonable thing. Like, just leave, and you don't have any problems.
Well, I mean, you say that, but also he has like a lot of supplies on him, and he is literally food. So you say it's but it's also like that's free food right there. Like if you're driving by a McDonald's, they got a sign up that says free cheeseburgers for the next hour. Are you gonna drive by?
Does Tony help me out here?
Not at the moment. So you say that, and one of the other Karak, this is again of the group that Grika is your friend. But the
yeah, we're friends.
but the others were of varied degrees. So the outermost rung one before didn't show up.
I figured,
Now,
yeah.
who is currently the outermost rung one, literally goes and grabs out his axe and says, "I guess we eats two." God.
So just because I knowing that I up until that I would react to that, but before this there was a conversation going that I'm not a part of, and my CEO is unconscious. What I would know, would healing potions help someone wake up in this condition?
So the way healing potions work, assuming you have them to use, healing potions heal an equal number of non-lethal and lethal damage. So if you say have 10 points of non-lethal damage and 12 points of lethal damage on you, and you drink a healing potion to heal 7, that would leave you with 3 and 5 missing off of your character sheet, right? Which is pretty awesome because it heals you that for 14. But he's unconscious from failed constitution checks. So if you healed him enough that his non-lethal damage was gone, he would be able to wake up. You probably don't remember how much non-lethal he has. Don't count it. It's cheating. But if you were able to heal him enough that he has 0 non-lethal damage, he would definitely regain consciousness, but continue with the exhausted condition. So to answer your question short, it can help, but the likelihood depends on the numbers.
Okay. How many healing potions does he have on his belt?
That's a Jake question.
Yeah.
And you might not
all of them.
necessarily know what is what. So, but
He's got
these ones I
the
wouldn't know
same
because
potions.
he
Okay.
gave me the exact same set of potions.
okay.
So so you have 7 healing potions?
How many did we have? How many is the? I have like 10 because I filled the whole. We all had the.
Yeah,
Belt
both
full of healing
both Neil
potions.
and I had 7 to start off with.
Wait, okay. We haven't been using these to heal us up while we were on the walk.
I have
Well,
extracts.
Well,
so
you want to
We
save them
used
for
a
critical
bunch.
moments. Yeah, you used a
Yes,
bunch originally.
exactly.
Oh yeah, I have 7. Yeah, I have 7.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have 7
I
remaining.
used a bunch for myself.
Yeah.
So if you have 7, he would, while that conversation's going, he would be feeding him at least 2 to 3 healing potions to try and get him up, like trying to get him awake because he knows that this is dangerous.
So,
Well, he
so
doesn't
more
know
or
that
less,
part.
he's trying to talk
Irritating.
them down, and the guy goes and grabs his axe. Immediately, Gallon drops down and starts trying to feed the guy a potion. What do you do
No,
while he's
I
doing?
would have been doing that before he got the axe. I would have been doing that while they were having that whole conversation.
Oh,
It
I
would've been
understand.
one
So
of the
I'll
first
say
things
I'll say that
Gallon would've
one
done.
potion
Yeah.
would have been consumed by this point. Kind of looking
Okay,
down
so
because
how
you're not moving with a
Oh,
It's like you were
roll it
moving
then.
with a sense of urgency because you didn't think it was that big of a deal. You know what I
Have we
mean?
had-
So,
So we'll say one of them was consumed at this point in the. I imagine that does not wake him up.
Nope.
So all of a sudden, the guy grabs the axe, and we can actually handle this the old school way. The guy grabs the axe and goes to act. So we're going to roll for
roll it.
initiative really quickly.
Well, can I have my sword drawn too? If he
Yeah,
draws his axe, I draw my sword.
That's perfectly fine. But, I mean,
Okay.
drawing your sword's a move action anyway. It's not like it's anything
So,
crazy.
Another question: was there any additional days of healing that we've had?
No. You are at where you're supposed to be.
14 HP, boys.
Yep.
If
So
he hits me once, I'm dead.
So that being said, go ahead and roll your initiative. Click your token and roll it.
well, we don't necessarily
Good.
have to come to blows. This is to stop him from having a blow.
There's this.
Heyo.
this the
That
correct.
makes sense because I
They're
didn't know
fighting.
what was happening, unfortunately.
Okay, and I get to go first. So Tethys, what do you do?
So I guess would it be like if this guy's trying to kill someone I know, right? And I stop him and fight him, the other guys are just gonna watch it, right? This is like a duel almost, right?
Oh, this isn't Jinxie, baby. This could
I-
definitely turn into like a stomp fest. I don't know if you've
will-
ever seen somebody get jumped before, but it's not pretty.
I know, but in the Barrenland they still respect like duels.
Strength and whatnot, absolutely. Standing up for what you believe in, absolutely. These are very much if you were to imagine that the Karuk army had a flag, they
Yeah.
all have a "Don't Tread on Me," right? They all have just big banners, big yellow flags. It's coiled snakes.
So I will I will say, so I will, I guess, like act as like a full defense or whatever. So like +4 to AC or whatever, right? It's a thing.
Sure, yeah, you want a full defense, but also stand between what's his face and
Yeah. And
Okay.
I'll say, we can fight if you want, but it's your dead body they're eating.
okay. So he's going to that's your move is to kind of like get over there and stand over him, so you're like protecting him, and your action is a full defense. He'll make his attack against you. Full defense gives you what, +4 AC, I believe.
Yeah.
There are ways to increase that based off of like if you have, or at least in the old school, you would. I think Pathfinder too, if you have enough ranks inside acrobatics or whatever. So it's always good to look into that stuff. Anyways, he's gonna make his attack against you. He's not. Let's see, that'd be 2 and strength of 3 and 2, so 5. Does a 16 hit you? I
Miss.
imagine it does not. Okay, cool. So he comes rushing up at you, and he throws his swings his axe hard at you. This is when Gallon's all of a sudden like, "What the? Glug 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 glug."
Yeah.
And this is when Gallon rolls a 1, and it's still not enough.
Can I shout for Gallon to
roll the
not
healing
intervene?
again?
New Gallon's gonna.
Yeah.
He's
Okay,
just
okay.
Trying to
healing
get
potion.
it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you want me to roll it, Tesh, or do you want to roll it?
Tess should roll, right?
Oh,
Is it who rolled last
I'll
time?
roll then.
Yeah.
Jake did.
I had Tesh roll for himself last time.
Yeah. When I was on the when I was on the
you
ground,
can
I
roll,
rolled for-
Jake.
Yeah. So
If you rolled last time, you're good. Roll a 1 for me, Jake.
Nope,
why
two.
would you say that?
Well, I didn't get my
Didn't roll a
1.
1. He rolled the 2.
So it's not my
Yeah,
fault how
so-
many health points of damage he has. It was Steve that rolled
Well,
the 3 checks.
I would also like to note that knowing that this is now combat situation, I'm positioning myself so he would have to get through me to get to Viggo while
Yeah,
I'm feeding him this.
It's me in front of Gallon in front of Viggo.
Yeah,
Okay.
essentially, I'm trying to feed this to him quickly to get him up before I start dealing with whatever the fuck's happening.
So before I react with my next thing, my next turn, how I'm going to do it, I need to do what you're doing with your turn.
If he's attacking me, I've said the thing, right? I'm gonna hope, since I have a decent enough rapport here, that this is like, well, whoever wins wins. We either get 3 bodies or we get 1.
Okay. So you're going to
Okay.
go from defensive to offensive?
Yeah.
Okay.
19 hits, I assume.
19 is a really good chance to hit.
Minimum damage.
Of course. Of course it is.
I love that. I hate that it makes you see all the dice and you're like, oh, is it the 5? And oh,
It's almost like, rolling dice is already like heart-wrenching. It's like an extra layer of, come on! Anyways, so you sir are
A very graceful
switch from
slash.
switch from like how you're defending and standing over him, and as he attacks you, you very easily step to the side of that first attack and immediately follow up with like a little cut to his side. So I mean, it actually pierces flesh, draws blood, so on and so forth. This was not just a throwing him off balance. You actually do cut him, just not a particularly deep cut, right? He reacts in a none so pleasant way. He is not happy with that at all. So
Well, should have killed me.
So he's actually going to make sure he's got his axe firmly gripped in his 2 hands, and he's going to attack at you. Power attack at you.
Oh, good. That's a lower chance to hit. That's what
yep.
I need.
It's a -1 chance to hit. So instead of
Yeah,
+5, it's +4.
That matters a lot.
It does, because a lot more damage.
Yeah. Fuck. He just hits. He hit. Oh, I'm dead. I'm unconscious. If you
So
roll- I'm gonna be unconscious. It's 1.5 times strength because it's 2-handed.
we already said his strength is 3, so instead of +3 damage, it's +4, right?
Oh.
So that's
And
already
then
fine.
plus another 2 for power attack.
No, power attack is strength. Oh, no, sorry, yeah, 4 + 2, that's right. No, +3. +3, because so it's
Because
actually...
1.5.
So instead of +3 strength, it's +4 for strength, and then because it's a 2-handed weapon, it's 3 more, so it's +7.
if he rolls like a 4, I'm dead.
Not dead.
I'm unconscious and I'm at -5.
Whoa, that's +20.
Oh.
Oh, that's +20.
Wait, I was like,
thank
why
you,
It's
did
20.
I-
It's 20. It's the
Thank
wrong die.
Christ.
It's the wrong die.
I was gonna say.
I'm still unconscious by -1.
Okay, Gallon, it's your turn. What do you do?
Motherfucker.
Fuck.
Get eaten by fucking orcs that were a fortune favor, may I add.
Dump that last potion in.
Yeah. Can I as my thing? I would feed the potion to Viggo, and then I would essentially pull him, Tethys, essentially basically put myself in on top of Tethys, like in the way, and pull him to the side, essentially being like, well, shit, now there's another one unconscious, and now I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
So obviously interactions are somewhat limited here. First things first, the most important thing.
Potion. Yeah.
Are you feeding the potion? Okay, cool. So you're feeding the potion to him. You can go ahead and roll that because that's going to define the tone of everything else.
I wake up.
Well, you want to see how many health points you have.
How much health you have, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, so you want me to roll it again?
Yep.
And that's that's the third potion from you. Oh, nice.
All right. So immediately you wake up, and when you wake up, what you end up seeing is as you feed the potion onto him, and you see that he's feeding you a potion, waking you up, and you feel you're exhausted. To be clear, exhaustion is -6 strength and dex. Exhaustion is you cannot run or charge. Exhaustion is a miserable stat to have on your character. As you're kind of like waking up, it's feeling absolute shit. You're exhausted. You just, it's one of those things where you passed out of exhaustion. One of your friends kind of came over and shook you awake. You're not feeling the pains of it, but you definitely feel groggy and slow and so on. Anyways, continuing. And then you immediately see, as soon as you wake up, Gallon kind of looks down at you and he's like, good. And then goes over to like semi-pole and stand over. You see an unconscious Tethys. Yeah. And you see the Kudok standing over you with an axe. You probably for a quick moment thinking to yourself, oh shit, they caught up to us. What the hell happened? You know what I mean? But why don't you go ahead and roll a sense motive check to kind of gather the situation real quick. Jake.
Mm-hmm. God, my AC is so low because of fatigue. Fucks your AC. Oh my god.
Okay, you very quickly get the situation going on. Kind of reading it, you quickly realize, oh wait, no, this isn't. They didn't catch up to us. This is the freaking group we're traveling with. These are our friends, right? Of the 5 people traveling with you, you see one of them is being hyper aggressive. Another one is, shall we say, cheering them on. 2 more are watching just because it's like bad television. It's on, so you're watching it, but And then you actually see that specifically Griko is the one that's kind of like, he's the leader, if you will, of the group. He's watching. You can get the impression off of him that he's not happy with the scenario, but at the same time, these are corrupt ways. So he's also not going to intervene with things playing out if it's not, if there's no reason to not intervene, right? So anyways, this is what you kind of gather as a quick open your eyes to taking in the scenario of everything going on. The guy kind of like celebrating, and then he calls out in 1 second. He calls out in Kuruk. I don't know if any of you guys understand the words, but he's like, now we eat. And then he kind of like turns back. You finish taking in the thing. You can now act, Jake, after. Go ahead, Sal, sorry.
Weren't some of these guys fatigued?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Was this guy fatigued?
He would not be attacking if he was tired.
Again,
you have the bad television people actually
should have rolled
watching.
for that. That's sus.
Why would he attack you if he was fatigued?
Well, why is it the one that really hates me the one that's not fatigued?
Oh, so there's 5 and oh yeah. Again, that's how it works out, Sal. But what Griko is, I'll allow you to roll for that one. How about that? Because that's sitting on party lines.
What? That's so
you can roll for him. I'll even be nice enough to give you a 60-40. So no, have somebody in chat roll for you.
Wow.
You just get to call out what's what.
High is better.
It's called narrative.
Yeah, but that's like
entitlement.
That's sus. Okay, that's DM hacks, as Nick would say. That's DM hacks.
So Jake, what does your character do?
Taking in the situation, his brain racing. He grabs inside of his inside of his jacket pocket or whatever he's wearing, and he pulls out a little bottle of something, and he opens it, drinks it, feels completely normal, and he'll stand up. Pop the invigorate.
Oh, invigorate. It's like a temporary increase. It gets rid of everything for like an hour or whatever it is. Okay, so you pop out and invigorate, and then you stand up, and
that's my turn. I can't do anything else.
Okay. So you stand up. You can roll yourself into initiative if you'd like.
Yeah.
Tony is not fatigued.
Oh, I have to re-roll, unfortunately. I never took the exhausted condition off.
Wait.
What?
Never
Well,
mind.
technically speaking, you would have had it on there when you first rolled into initiative.
Wait,
so-
he is
so that's
fatigued.
okay.
That's one under.
Did you want to modify that 15 prior?
What does that other one have?
What other one?
What is the
Exhaust is -6. So
no,
your
this gets rid of everything.
no, that's fine. I'm talking about for the sake of initiative.
Oh yeah, what did the orc get? Didn't he get like 15?
Oh, he's got a 16. It's right on the roll 20 for you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, all right.
Okay. So funny if your modifier, because again you had fatigue on but not exhausted. Your wouldn't have be a 15. You'd actually be at a 13, but a 13 plus 4 equals 17. So you're actually perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So 17. So you would be able to act before him. So obviously, you were able to. We're kind of at the top of initiative sort of thing for how it is all playing out, right? So the first things first, Tethys has to make a Constitution check to save his own ass.
Yeah. All right. Just so you know,
Wait.
Tony is
yeah.
Gucci. He is not fatigued.
Okay.
There's a bit of confusion because I can't
How
math.
did this?
Do you get any bonuses to this? No, I don't. Okay.
And
So
then
just-
immediately afterwards, we're gonna have Jake going.
I'm good.
Okay, that's good. So you're stable at least. There's no concerns. Jake, immediately afterwards, Jake, you kind of like drink a potion, you stand up, and you feel perfectly fine.
Yep. So he stands up, takes in the situation. He looks at Orc straight in the eye that's standing over Tethys. Once again, reaches in, gets out something else, pops it, drinks it, and then he transforms.
Ah. Okay.
Give me a second. This transformation is different though.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This time, instead of wolf-like, he takes on very bear-like characteristics. His muscles swell. Like you can just see his muscle mass increases, different shape of the snout and all that, as he stands looking bear-like.
Awesome.
And
So he's a furry.
yeah, and then he just like, I mean, there's nothing else I can do because I think that's all I can do for now. But I will. He just like lets out a growl.
Okay. I'm actually going to allow you to roll an intimidation check because of how things had played out beforehand.
I'd rather not.
Why
I
not?
would rather not. I would rather not.
But you have a chance of, it's like a free chance to succeed. Demoralizing your opponent's not exactly the hardest of
Nothing.
checks.
So are you saying nothing happens if he rolls lower?
No.
I mean,
He's just not intimidating.
they just continue to fight.
So you might as
Yeah,
well
okay.
roll it.
Yeah.
You
Natty
might as
20,
well-
please. 0. There you go.
-3.
It's always.
Holy
Hey,
shit.
you said nothing happens if he rolls low.
Yep, you did say that.
Oh,
Otherwise,
man.
I would not have rolled.
Well, I didn't think you'd get less than a 1. Now it's time everybody draws their weapons and goes,
No.
oh, look at this little bear cub.
No, he wouldn't have rolled it. You told him. You made him roll it.
But listen, Tesh, he didn't even meet the bare necessities, the
Oh
simple
my.
bare necessities.
No.
Friends.
He rolled
Well
it
done.
purely. That nothing would happen if he rolled lower, because you were giving it to him as a free thing.
You forced him to roll.
Oh, well, I did, and oh boy, that's like some Maggie level rolling. Like that's bad. Like when Maggie made the intelligence check and it was like a -2 before, we're like,
This is.
oh,
I think intimidation should be on under a different thing, because like.
no, intimidate as a charismatic thing makes sense. Just because he's big doesn't mean he's
Nobody's
scary.
Fucking beast.
But it doesn't necessarily mean he's scary. You know what I mean? You show that by doing combat or by words or force of
Yeah, I
personality.
mean, becoming a bear doesn't necessarily mean you're scary in a world full of magic.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so moving on. You turn into the big bear thing, and is that your whole turn?
I can move to stand next to Galen, and who is over Tethys's body, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can move. That's how I'll move.
Seeing you stand there and whatnot, everything's good to go. What's his name? Do either of you understand any amount of Karak?
No.
So Grika starts.
I can make a linguistics if you like, from listening to them talk for a while.
You guys can actually roll a sense motive to gather an idea of what's
I've
going
also
on.
done a lot of translating for them, so they might pick up certain phrases or whatnot.
So Grika immediately chimes in and starts saying some words to the person that was fighting this whole time. That person then responds back. Grika responds again. And then he responds back angrily and points down at Tethys's body on the ground. And then Grika responds back again. Responds back again, like stepping forward, like brandishing his axe and pointing again down at Tethys's body, but like really raising his voice and starting to argue. And then Grika is again going to kind of like this time much more with a lot more force, kind of like pointing down, like more or less like pointing at the ground, almost like claiming ownership over whatever it is it might be. It starts like screaming something out, but it's loud, but like not too incredibly loud because again you've been traveling for hours, it's nighttime. You don't want to give them a hint as to where you are, right? So it's more of like a growl, like a loud growl at the guy. I'm now going to roll an intimidation check for Grika to try to tell that guy more or less to back down. But the overall assumption you're able to get Viggo significantly more accurately. Galen, you're gathering less of this. But what you're able to understand is more or less Greek is like your original argument, like it's over. He's standing. He's not on the ground anymore. And the other guy's like, yeah, but bro, now we got this guy. He's like, but he's there because you put him there. Yeah, because he's weak. It's like, but that's not why we're doing this. We're trying to be getting away, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hold on one second. Hi, Rory. How are you? And Brody. Oh, hi, Brody. Hi, Brody.
They also know I was
moment to
injured
pour
from our
myself a
last
drink.
fight.
So let me
No.
roll that intimidation check really quickly. So give me 1 second, kiddo.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this moment to pull myself a drink. Be right back.
What did you do? Oh, you put on you pick up that whole outfit? Yeah, I see you've got
We're just squeaking by, Jake.
And is that the moon necklace?
Yeah.
What?
It's not good.
No, it's gotten pretty bad.
Look, very soon I'm going to have to strap and tie more or less myself to Braga.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If I can get back up, I'll be fine.
You'll be fine. We'll get you back up.
Yeah, I'm only at -1, so just one potion, I'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why we didn't heal you more.
Yeah,
I think it was, to be honest, glossed over very quickly because we're at the end of the session.
Yeah.
So we'll fix you up.
I mean, almost at
I
this
also
point.
have to go. My daughter is out of bed. Give me a second. Take it
You know, why don't we
away.
take a quick break because we have both of us have our daughters approaching. What's name's grabbing a drink, so we'll take a quick break and come right back and process that 23. Okay, be right back, everybody.